The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Just when you thought the grilling sessions were over, what happens but Linky Boy, that's right, old Tebow, the bitch out west, once again puts himself out there in the news, not just by the common Joes and Sallys in the know, but now national pundits like Joel Klatt are questioning Tebow and how he basically sold the sheets in this recruiting cycle. Let's talk about it. That's right. That's old school right there. That's even before I was born. That's the theme song to Bonanza. And when I think of that, I think of the Outlaw Posse riding in. Once again, the Outlaw Posse is in effect because this is the Outlaw of College Football. Acronymically speaking, that's the OCF, also known as JPC. Also, you can find me on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here. Seems like old Linky Boy, Mr. Prognosticator of the false prophet variety, who saith unto us, Thou shalt not be able to recruiteth unto Oklahoma ever. What he meant to say was, I can't recruit to Oklahoma ever. And I can't recruit to USC either. Because he couldn't even break the top 10 this year after all that hubbubloo between him and old Colin Coward throughout the year about how we got all these benefits to recruit out here. But this little story that I'm about to tell about old Linky Boy that you know so well was actually brought to my attention once again by the common Joes and Sallys in the know out there. And I'm about to give them credit right now. Justin Bashaw, George Contupis, a.k.a. Killer Breeze, Brandon Dunn, and Bart Weisenhut. Thank you for all those little nuggets that you give me this week that have sort of riled me up and got me invigorated once again to fire up that grill, throw the charcoal in there, and put old Linky Boy's ass on there once again. That's right. Even got some notes here today because people say they really respect the old school way of taking notes instead of reading that teleprompter. Old national pundit Joel Klatt says Linky Boy has vastly underachieved. He got 3. I'm going to throw some graphs up here periodically as well. He got 3 recruits out of the top 20. Not in the nation, in the state of California. His own state, he only got 3 of 20. And now, many of these USC fans were telling me, y'all remember old Daniel Bitzer? They were telling me that Lincoln was going to build a fence around California. You know, sort of like a wall or something. You know, sort of like, you know, they were supposed to be building a wall down there on the border. Well, they was going to build a wall around California. And just like that wall on the border that didn't get completed like it was supposed to have been for the American people. Another topic for another day. This wall, it didn't get built either. Because not only did you have Alabama come out there and get a top 5 quarterback once again, the second top 5 quarterback, I think, maybe even rated the number 1 quarterback in California, and Justin Saying, on the heels of basically snatching Bryce Young from him. But you had Oregon in the same conference, not in the same state, but in the same conference that actually out-recruited Southern Cal in their own state. And yet, Linky Boy and Colin Coward and all them Lincoln man crushers out there said that you couldn't recruit to Oklahoma and that nobody was going to come into California anymore. And already in the first couple of years, you got a team within your own conference that owns your state, the Oregon Ducks, and Dan Lanning, who is basically, that was just his first year as head coach at Oregon, and already he's out recruiting Lincoln Riley in his own state, the state where they got so much other things to do that, we can get recruits here because we can offer so much more in Los Angeles. Although the narrative of Los Angeles is debatable, considering that it's pretty crime-ridden now, pretty trashy looking. You got people crapping in the streets and homeless by choice, and all sorts of craziness going on out there. But he can't recruit. And then it says here that Oregon, USC only got one 5-star recruit out of the state of California. Oregon got 19 4-star recruits, the second most in the nation, most likely behind either Alabama or Georgia. Second most in the nation now. And yet, this guy is supposed to be the guy that's going to take USC back to the promised land, and he can't even clean up his own backyard. You got Oregon coming in there taking your lunch money, and then on the field, you got Utah on your ass twice, not to mention the embarrassment down there in the Cotton Bowl. Oregon finished 8th in recruiting, a good 4 or 5 spots ahead of USC, with a first-year coach. Not only that, but also another person with a first-year coach. Both of these coaches, not only are they first-year coaches at these programs, they're first-year coaches overall. They've never been a head coach anywhere. Lincoln Riley's got 4 or 5 years of experience on him, and he has the supposed mecca of college football where everybody wants to come play. And yet these two guys who've never had a head coaching position have out-recruited him. And that other guy that I'm speaking of, that's right. That's old Brent Venables. The guy that took over the team where you said you couldn't recruit to. So I just want to know from the USC fans out there, if you're honest with yourselves, how does this make you feel that this guy has yet to land a top 5 class and supposedly has all these other resources and things that are supposed to be more attractive than teams like Oregon, Alabama, and Oklahoma? Because you can't recruit to them. You can't recruit to Oklahoma, a team that's won 7 national championships. And it's very troublesome. And I hate it for the USC fans out there, the good ones. Because until this guy starts taking defense seriously, he's not going to be able to have a top 5 class. Because in order to get a top 5 class, what must you have, class? Variety. You got to be able to recruit across the board. You got to be able to recruit both offense and defense. And Lincoln Riley is unable to do that. And even if he fires Alex Grinch this year, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Because he's went through a couple of coordinators already. And it continues to be the same narrative. And it's because he doesn't coach the kind of culture that you need to have a varied team that's able to compete across the board. And also, one thing I want to get to, here's another thing. They're going to start saying, well, once, I've seen these USC fans saying this out here, once we get into the Big Ten, that's going to stop. We're going to out-recruit Oregon. We're going to out-recruit all these teams that we're leaving behind. See, because USC, not so much UCLA, but USC doesn't want Oregon and Washington to get a Big Ten invite because they see it as some kind of thing that they can hold over their head in recruiting. But I got news for them. First of all, Oregon's supported by Nike. Pretty big booster. Second of all, if the Pac-12 will go out and be proactive and stop waiting around on the Big Ten who screwed them, and then go out and get San Diego State and to replace that Southern California market, and then maybe possibly bring in one more team, maybe Boise State or somebody like that, to replace those. Or, to me, the biggest thing that they should do, them and the Big 12, if they're smart, they put their differences aside and merge. Because that there will put the Big Ten in check. You might not be able to checkmate them, but you'll be on even ground with them. They might have the LA market, but you'll have the entire rest of the West. You guys and gals, tell me what you think about that. If they do that, I think that they could really put the hurt on USC and UCLA from that point. Now, if the Big Ten is smart, on the other hand, they'll not listen to that USC crap, and they'll go out and get Oregon and Washington and maybe stave off some of that. But you guys and gals, drop in the comment section. You tell me what you think about all this. Also, there's a heart right here. If you don't mind, hit that. Throw me a few dollars in the coffers. Get me off this YouTube teat, so I ain't got to worry about them censoring me. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.